Former President Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson will have a 5-day state funeral. At Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, Minister of National Security Gary Griffith gave a report of the first planning meeting for the state funeral for the former president and prime minister held earlier today. Here again is Karen Cozier-Phillip.
There is no exact date as yet for Mr. Robinson's state funeral. However, National Security Minister Gary Griffith says after consultation with the family, it will take place over the course of 5 days.
The concept of the funeral, of this arrangement, will be within a 5-day period. There will be 2 days where the body will lie in state in Trinidad and Tobago. Then day 3, it will be the actual state. It will be the funeral itself in Trinidad. The body will then be flown to Tobago, where it will then lie in state on day 4, and then day 5 would be the funeral itself in Tobago.
And the planning committee is considering possible dates between April 24th and May 3rd.
The period would be either between the 29th of April to Saturday the 3rd of May, which would be the date of the funeral, or option 2, the 24th of April, with the funeral being Monday the 28th of April.
The Parliament building at the International Waterfront Centre in Port of Spain is being looked at as one possible option for the body to lie in state between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the first 2 days. Special guests, dignitaries, officials and members of the public will be allowed to pay their respects by filing past the flag-draped, unopened casket. The funeral service in Trinidad is likely to be held at the National Academy for the Performing Arts, and this will be preceded by the procession of a military cortege with full honours from the Clark and Batu Funeral Home to Napa. Mr. Robinson's body will also lie in state at the Tobago House of Assembly between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on day 4. Official condolence books will be available for signing at the Parliament building from Friday 11th April from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and from Monday 14th April at the Legislative Chamber of the THA, City and Borough Corporations and all TNT diplomatic missions. Karen Cozier-Phillip, C News.
And 1 day after his passing, tributes continue to pour in for the late Arthur N.R. Robinson, former President and Prime Minister of the Republic, and the man instrumental in the formation of the International Criminal Court. Sherilyn Lewis has more.
As the tributes continue for late President and Prime Minister Arthur N.R. Robinson, former Attorney General Ramesh Lawrence Murad says he had the pleasure of working closely with the former President of Trinidad and Tobago when the International Criminal Court was in its embryonic stage. He says he is witness to the sort of reception Mr. Robinson got for his work.
When he went to South Africa, I was with him. So I know the great contribution he made, and I know the acclaim and the recognition he had internationally.
And former Minister of National Security Joseph Tony says he saw former Prime Minister Robinson act with grace under the worst circumstances, and for that he will always have great respect for him.
He was a giant of a man, a great man, in my view, because I had the opportunity, fortunately for me, to see him up close and personal in times of peace and in times of war. And he did not disappoint me.
Mr. Tony was Minister of National Security in the 1986 to 1991 NAR administration when Mr. Robinson was Prime Minister. He was also hostage along with Mr. Robinson in the Red House during the 1990 attempted coup. Mr. Robinson died early yesterday morning at the St. Clair Medical Center. He had been ailing for some time now. Sherilyn Lewis,